Hey everybody, Who's Your Jedi here with another review for you. This time I'm talking about episode 9 of season 3 of Game of Thrones, The Rains of Castamere. Well kids, are you happy? Do you have great big old smiles plastered across your faces after this episode? yeah. I've read the books, so I've known this was coming. And I gotta say, ever since people freaked the hell out when they killed Ned in season 1, I've been waiting for this. Oh, I've been waiting for this. And the people just losing their shit on the internet has been everything I could have ever hoped for. Yeah, George R. Martin, man, when I read this in the books, I was like, yeah, Ned was not an anomaly. This is not a world where the good guys are destined to triumph. This is a world where being being a good guy is a really great way to get yourself killed in a rather unfortunate fashion. You know, that was the real shakeup. That was there to remind us that George R. R. Martin was not screwing around with the whole I can and will kill anybody if I think it serves the story. And now, of course, one difference here from the books, I guess we're going to be talking about some spoilers in case you haven't figured that out already. But if you hadn't already seen this episode, you wouldn't be watching this anyway. So one difference that was different in the book, and I'm not going to spoil anything major from the book, but I do think this needs to be commented on, and I'm pretty sure it's been mentioned around the net enough that Jenny Westerling, Talisa's equivalent in the book, was not at the Red Wedding, and I don't really think after that it was really made all that clear exactly what happened to her. But yeah. Oh man. Let's just talk about the whole thing there, because after that, what happened with Jon and what was going on with Sam and Bronn doesn't seem really quite as important, does it? Anyway, so I liked that this episode started off with Robb talking to Cat. And one, this is good because for the most part, Cat really hasn't had jack to do since Robb took her as a prisoner. I mean, she's had a scene here or there talking with Talisa and all that, but really, Cat has not had a whole lot to do. Here we're reminded that she's a very experienced person in the world of politics in Westeros. And just generally a pretty savvy lady as a whole. You know, she's the first one who really catches on that something ain't right here. Then again, come on, Robb. The Rains of Castamere is the Lannisters' theme song for all intents and purposes. Didn't it seem a little strange to you that they would start playing that at a wedding where you're a guest and they're your greatest enemies? Of course, Caitlin also thought to have a look at check Ramsay Bolton's arm and saw that he had chainmail on underneath there. And to her credit, she didn't sit there and take it. She, hid so that she wouldn't die in the initial fiasco, and managed to take Walder Frey's wife, Jocelyn, something like that. I forget, whatever. She's not an important character. Who the hell cares? She managed to take her hostage. And of course, it's incredibly telling of Walder Frey when she says to her, let my son go or I'll kill your wife, and Walder just goes, I'll get another. She's like what? I think she's like Walder Frey's 10th wife or something. If you read the books, and it really gets into the details of just Walder Frey, the way Walder Frey goes through wives and through women. And another thing is that I don't think a lot of people had realized up until that point that girl was his wife. Now, of course, having read the books, I realized that. And when you realize that and you watch those initial scenes, just how horribly unhappy and uncomfortable that poor girl looks. Then again, it's also made clear in the book that at the time she's only like 15 years old. So, yeah. But, One thing that I also liked, going back to Caitlyn, is that line she says, let's show them what it's like to lose what they love. And when you see just Robb seeing Talisa's body, Caitlyn seeing Robb die, well, that just takes all the wind out of their sails and they're easily slaughtered. Lose what they love. You can't say that the Lannisters don't know where to hit people where it hurts, can you? Now, this is, of course, a major violation, an absolutely unthinkable violation, really, of the law of sacred hospitality, which is held in the highest regard in Westeros. It's played much more deliberately in the books. Like in the books, when Robb shows up there, he's a little bit more wary of Walder Frey's goodwill, so the first thing he immediately does is ask for some bread and salt. And that's the way it works in Westeros, is if you go and you eat someone's bread and salt, specifically, that's really symbolic, but Robb specifically asked for bread and salt. That means that they are your guest, and they are under your protection. And Walder basically doing this, the whole slaughter thing, which is eventually, in the books, given the name The Red Wedding, is, as I said, just an absolutely almost unthinkable violation of the spiritual laws that govern Westeros. It's this is the equivalent of just like throwing a baby out of a window. Wait. But no, seriously, this is just something that is so unthinkable to do this that it's really not that huge a surprise that Robb lets his guard down. Again, I really cannot emphasize enough just how this is simply not done. This is not something you do even to your greatest enemy, no matter what. And it all just really goes to show you that Walder Frey is just the biggest bastard out there. There really is no honor, no decency in this guy. And you gotta, yeah, Walder Frey's a bastard. That's really all there is to say to it. And of course, just the way it's all carried out. Now, in the books, it's just sort of like, wait, what? Here, it's just 10 times worse because you see it all, and you see all these people dying. You see the characters really having some time to react. Here, it's really not. In the books, it's really just more of a show rather than actually giving the characters dialogue during that scene. And frankly, I think this version is in many ways much stronger than what's in the books, because we do really have those moments where the characters open their mouths and have some reactions to all of this. So yeah, it's that's all going to go down as one of the all-time great scenes in this show. And of course, we also get our obligatory "it completely sucks to be Arya Stark" yet again. Now, seeing Arya face off with the Hound and him, her trying to protect the merchant guy, and really kind of getting in the Hound's face and telling him, like, you're not without fear yourself. I know what scares you, and one of these days I'm going to track you down and kill you for what you've done. It really does show that in some ways these two characters are very similar people. The Hound was really made who he was by the actions and the tragedies that he suffered under other people, specifically his brother, when he was a child. And if getting some burns on your face is nothing compared to what poor Arya's gone through. So even though she's only, about 12 by the time this happens, I don't think maybe even that, just the sheer shit she has been through versus what the Hound has been through, if that's all it takes to turn into like a super deadly badass warrior in Westeros, then Arya is probably going to be about the most dangerous person that ever lives that ever lived if she can make it all the way to adulthood. And yeah, again, I really do like that we do see the Stark girls, two very different Stark girls, bouncing off the Hound and getting such completely different reactions from him, and their characters going in such radically different directions because of their interactions with him. Let me see here. Oh yeah, and I also gotta say, man, how much did it suck that they actually took the time out to show Grey Wind getting killed? Oh man, I mean that must have just driven a stake through the heart of everybody out there who's really into animals. And as somebody who's had pets pretty much most of their life, yeah, that was not fun to watch. So anyway, I think that kind of covers everything I have to say about what's going on over in that area of things. Not a huge amount to say about Sam. Just a little bit more development of his relationship with Gilly. You know, before she was kind of wondering if Sam wasn't using his educated background to make fun of her. And here, you know, Sam is demonstrating his educated background. You know, his steward time in the Night's Watch, and Gilly is extraordinarily impressed by that. So it's nice that they really shown that that Gilly doesn't really have a problem with knowledge. It's just the way that Sam was presenting himself. And as I said, I really do love the interaction between Sam and Gilly. They're both just simply good and honest people, decent people. And yeah, Westeros is now a few decent people short, huh? Let's see here. Not a huge amount to say about what's going on with Jon. Just that I am interested in seeing how things are going to play out when he and Ygritte meet up again. Now, as I've said, the way things are shaping up, going out between those two, it's somewhat different in the books, and it's different enough that I'm genuinely interested. And one thing that I do have to say that I did like about what's going on with Bronn and his crew is that they're in considerably less dire straits in some ways than they were in the books. In the books, everybody there was like just one step, like barely keeping ahead of like being half starved. Here, they're not really going into that territory, and honestly, I'm glad, because frankly, when I was reading that in the books, I was really getting a little tired of how they were constantly going on about how everybody was really hungry and stuff. I mean, but then again, food is one of the things that you just have to accept is going to pop up a lot in these books, because you know that's something that George R.R. Martin is really into. If you read the books, he's just always going on and on about, you know, what everybody is eating and all this and blah 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 blah. And I don't really have a huge problem with it, but it's just like, come on, more food porn. I'm not into this. Let's go on and, you know, have somebody betray somebody and kill someone in a horrible fashion. Oh yeah, speaking of people who betray people and kill people in horrible fashions, Dario and Ser Jorah and Grey Worm. Yeah, yes, definitely some serious ass kicking going on there. That fight with the guards, that is one of the best action sequences I think we've seen on the show. And I especially loved the way Grey Worm was just twirling around that spear. Oh, that was beautiful. That is, yeah, man. This is why I love Grey Worm. That dude is just badass. And I also like how when it's all over, like they show up again to talk to Dany, and these guys are just covered in blood. I mean, melee combat is not neat and pretty stuff. And of course, Dany's reaction to when she thinks that Dario might have been killed, you know, a very clear indicator of her genuine attraction to the guy, which, of course, probably going to be important later on. Certainly is important later in the books. So, Yeah, folks. I mean, this really was quite the kick in the head, huh? I mean, even if you're familiar with the story from the books, just seeing it play out the way it did, yeah, like a Ramsay Bolton knife to the heart. Oh, I'm such an uncaring and cruel individual, aren't I? But anyway, folks, yeah, fantastic episode. This is the stuff that TV legends are made of, and I'm loving it. And hey, we get one more episode this season, which I'm sure will be full of sunshine and rainbows and kittens and all the other things in the world that make you smile and happy. Or, maybe there'll just be violence and killing and sex and death and blah, 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 blah. It is HBO. You never know. TV is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. And with that, folks, as always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at Hoosier Jedi. And until next time, take care and have a good one.